Hello, hello.
What's up, guys?
Back at
Um,
it again. Week
uh,
2.
welcome, welcome to the Handoff.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
got a couple good things to talk about today. I guess we'll just get right into it. So first, Ethan, I don't think you're as familiar with it, but House of Athletes. It's owned by
Yeah.
Brandon Marshall.
Oh,
Ex-NFL player Brandon Marshall.
yeah, he was
Um,
the next giant.
yeah, big facility in Florida, huge facility, right? But what's amazing is, obviously with there being no combine and stuff this year for the NFL, they kind of revolutionized the game as in they have this big facility and they partnered with David Beckham in the field that he uses for his team that he owns over
Hmm.
there in Florida.
Oh,
And
Inter Miami, the MLS
yeah,
team.
yeah. And they I believe they had 30 different I think they have 30 athletes.
Mhm.
Like destroying the YouTuber too. He was there. He's
Yeah, yeah,
getting
yeah.
yeah. Um
So like destroying all these guys are gonna
no, yeah,
just
but like college
combine.
no, but no, like college dudes, like legitimate prospects,
Hmm.
came and participated in an event, and they they hosted it just like an NFL combine, but like with a twist. It was like more loose. It was more fun to watch. There was more personalities. Like
Okay.
Brandon Marshall was hosting it, and then they had a bunch of ex NFL. They had like Fred Taylor. I think Ocho Cinco was there.
Hmm.
Uh, Ryan Clark, Ray Lewis, just a bunch of different personalities, and like they're on the field while they're doing it.
Any
It's
good highlights?
dude, there's a ton of. I have like a bunch of film. I'll like show it to you afterwards and stuff. Like the 40 was fun to watch. They did broad jump,
Yeah.
vertical 40, and they obviously did their drills and stuff. But man, it was a lot more fun. Like it was more of like a friendly environment.
Hmm.
It wasn't so much like everybody, trying to, be at each other's neck. It didn't look like
Right.
that. It
Yeah.
was fun to watch. And dude, but the main reason I talk about it is because it changed. It's gonna change the game, man. Because they did the NFL Combine just as good as the NFL does. They had
And you'll
like
get the younger
yeah,
viewership with
and
these guys.
for the 40 they had hand laser and they had like laser. So laser, like as soon as the hand moves, and then they had like how the NFL does it, which is hand laser, so hand time to laser finish,
Hmm.
and they had everything official. They had NFL. They had NFL like people who were doing the test for NFL combines there. Like the top speed coaches in they like there. It was incredible, dude. Like watch it if you can. It's on
Yeah.
look up House of Athletes Combine 2021 and
Yeah,
watch.
it's crazy though. Like I was talking with Todd Charles, one of the guys
Yeah,
that that's on
yeah.
our team. For those who don't know, and for our upcoming meet, they were doing 4x1 handoffs, and he was telling me how he sets up. Like a lot of people set up differently. I in high school I lined up as if it was like a 4x4 and just took off,
Mhm.
but he
Right.
lines up as if it's like the 40-yard dash. And as they
Yeah.
do the combine, he's like, yeah, it's something that really like it's interesting to see how like lining up like that, your takeoff, your explosiveness is so much better when you get in that 3 point stance. Like
Yeah.
it makes so much sense. Like it's interesting how like that comparability between track and field and football with like the 3 point stance in the 40-yard dash or whatever or like that burst of speed, like or
Hmm.
even as a wide receiver that like that takeoff phase from when you're lined up, that drive out. It's like that comparison is like it sometimes it goes unnoticed, but it's
Exactly.
interesting.
And it's I mean the thing about the 40 though is you have your off season training right before the draft combine where you're learning how to be in a proper stance, you're learning how to line up, you're learning your acceleration phase, making sure you're producing enough horizontal force and you're not going
Right.
vertical too quick, my bad. And it's something that they're not really going to do again. But I
Mhm.
mean, most people are always saying, why is the 40 important? Why is the 40 important? Not only is it like fun to watch the 40, everybody loves to watch the 40, but the 40 is there to be able to
Very
determine how
explosive.
much be able to be able to determine how much horizontal force they can produce. So one thing that's really important to look at with the 40 is the 10-meter split at the
Mhm.
beginning, because I mean, football is a game of acceleration. It's not like in track where we're accelerating and then we're in our max velocity. You're not really going to get into max velocity much in the game. I mean, if you have a kick return and you get past everybody, I mean, you're running 100 yards, yeah, but majority of the plays are going to be within 20 yards. So you're going to be accelerating,
Exactly, yeah.
accelerating, decelerating, you know? So it's a good indicator of how much horizontal force they can do. Same with the broad jump.
But yeah, it's really interesting. Not gonna lie, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they changed the game, man. I think it's going to revolutionize it. I think that there are going to be multiple. I think it's not just going to be one combine. I think
Yeah,
that it opens up doors for more opportunities for players, and it shows that we don't need to go by the traditional way. You know, things are changing, especially with this crazy pandemic. Everybody is, having to figure out a way to adapt.
yeah,
And athletes still need to be able to have that, because a lot of athletes who, they need the combine. They
yeah,
need they need the combine to be able to get their draft stock up.
yeah. So talking about changing the game and how athletes are all different. I am personally a fan of soccer. And recently, this soccer player is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's world renowned. He's probably, I consider him, like there's Ronaldo, Messi, and I think he's right underneath. Like he's that third guy that never goes noticed,
Yeah,
but um, he's very vocal. He's a very vocal athlete. He's one who likes to be like, he knows he's good and he flaunts that he's good.
right.
And so recently, with since the changing environments in the United States, as players have become more involved in politics. Um, for example, LeBron James, who's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a part of this topic, he
Mm-hmm.
goes on to say that Zlatan says this. He says, "Athletes unite the world. Politics divides the world." He said at in a news conference at a music festival in Italy that he's hosting. He goes on to say that LeBron specifically is phenomenal at what he's doing, but I don't like when people have some kind of status. They go and do politics at the same time. Do what you're good at. Do the category you do. I play football because I'm the best at playing football. I don't do politics. If I was a political politician, I would do politics. That is the first mistake people do when they become famous and they become in a certain status. Stay out of it. Just do what you do best because it doesn't look good. And it's interesting to see, like, so football being, some Americans call it soccer. I'm being a fan, call it football. So for
Right.
football, it's the world's biggest sport. The World Cup each year, every 4 years, will get 4 billion viewers, more than half the world's population.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a stage where if he were to get involved in politics, it's like it's interesting because what politics is he going to get involved in? He's
Yeah.
an athlete. He's a athlete in the sport of the world. It's not like LeBron where it's strictly the United
Our
States.
country.
Yeah, it's the United States.
Yeah, country and
Um,
country and immediate Canada, but
right,
for the most part,
exactly. And Zlatan being the world-renowned player, yeah, he's from Sweden. He's a Swedish player, but he's played all over the world. He's played in Italy. He's played in France. He's played in England. He's played in
yeah,
Spain. He's. But I feel like being that he's has that world view of it, he doesn't understand at least what he might understand, but he seems to be the type of one that just focus on your sport and let the politics do the politics and just focus on your sport.
yeah,
But with LeBron, he has the platform because can he being where he came from in Akron to where he is now, he's seen all walks of life.
yeah, and it's huge because I feel like LeBron's whole cause ever since getting out of Akron, ever since making it out of what he did, was that he's more than an athlete, and with his school
Yep.
and funds, and what him, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, and all them do as far as standing up for Black Lives Matter, and so many different things that they stand up for our country, because I feel like it's so important that as athletes you are praised, you are looked at as a hero, and especially at a time like this, it's so important to unite, like you said. But at the same time, if you have that platform and you have that pedestal to be able to reach out to people and make a difference and be able to broadcast to the whole entire world more than anybody else can, because everybody's watching. Everybody wants to know what LeBron's doing. So when LeBron was wearing the T-shirts, the I Can't Breathe shirts, and when LeBron was in his press conferences, saying just for Breonna Taylor, and just standing up for causes, it pisses some people off. But I mean, I think that's amazing because he understands, man, everybody in the world is looking at me. So I'm going to bring these problems, to the light. I'm going to bring justice to these problems, and I'm going to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. I applaud him for it. I couldn't disagree more with the statement that was made. I mean, I understand that you want to not be problematic and you want to make sure that you know what you're doing. But I mean, it's not like LeBron's going out there and telling the country how to be ran. He's going out there and shining light on issues and making sure that the things that need to be, brought to attention by the world are being brought to attention by the world. Because if the athletes weren't doing it, I promise you the impact, I feel it wouldn't be as big. The athletes have a big platform.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, so there's this player who plays for Manchester United over in England, named Marcus Rashford, and he's not on the playing level of LeBron in relation to football, but he plays both. Like, he gets involved in the politics of England, especially during this COVID time, and he's a world-renowned football player. He's amazing. He's been able to do the balance where he worked during COVID to get children of England to be able to get food if they're not easily accessible to. He worked with the government and the prime minister over there to get food for children throughout the entire country, and he worked with local restaurants throughout every single place in England, and all the way up to the government level. And at the same time, he's taking his club to playing great at the best he's ever been. Mm-hmm. And it just you think Zlatan at least would understand that.
But I mean, he's always been a player who, he says, he's very blunt, and he's often, not everything he says is the right thing, but he speaks what he has to say, and he doesn't really care what anybody else has to say about what he said.
Yeah. So LeBron had responded to him, and he said, and I quote, "At the end of the day, I would never shut up about things that's wrong. I preach about my people. I preach about equality, social justice, racism, systematic voter suppression, things that go on in our community because I was a part of my community at one point, and I've seen things that were going on. I know what's going on still because I have a group of 300 plus kids at my school that are going through the same thing. They need a voice, and I'm their voice. I'll use my voice to continue to shed light on everything going on, not only in my community, but in this country and around the world." And that exactly goes to your point, how he understands his status in not just the United States, but around the globe. You think of basketball, you think of Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Yeah. And he's been able to, at least, I'm glad he's able to understand that platform that he has, and that he's using it for good, and that he's making a difference in people's lives in a positive way and not a negative way.
Yeah, he definitely is a trendsetter with that, because, back in the day, athletes weren't speaking out about politics as much. I mean, you had the rare occasion, but when you did, you were shunned. And most athletes, Michael Jordan wasn't big ever on standing for anything. He's now started to do it, but the Kobe's and the LeBrons were the ones who started standing up for a cause, really using their platform to put a message out there and let everybody know.
Right. It was always the,
for Kobe,
it was the shut up and dribble.
It was equal. Yeah, for Kobe, it was equal rights for women. LeBron, obviously there's a ton of them, and I'm sure there's more for a ton of athletes, but you see almost every athlete, there not every, but there's so many athletes following in their footsteps. And especially you saw in the bubble with the NBA,
Mhm.
and you see in the NFL, and you see in every league, you see the athletes aren't afraid to speak up anymore because they realize we're not just athletes. We don't have to, shut up and dribble, shut up and play. We have a voice just like everybody else does. But athletes are held to such a high standard. And even as far as being in school, when we were running track, we're like, when you're an athlete, man, you're just always held to a different standard. And
Yeah.
when you mess up, when you mess up the way, hold on one second. Yeah, even with us running track and field in college and just being a Division I athlete, you start to see how the school treats you different and how everybody looks at you different.
Yep.
You're always, whether you know it or not, you're on a pedestal, and what you do is always, broadcasted out. Especially with the COVID thing, we had to make sure we're on our P's and Q's because it got out, and you got your whole team down, and a
Yep.
regular season COVID, it's not a huge deal, but for us, it can mess up your season. It can mess up another team's season because often the athletes hang out and all hang out. We all live basically together. Um, yeah, everybody's kind of watching you, and it's all eyes on you. And when you make a mistake, it's way bigger than you can make any mistake that any 19-year-old, any 18-year-old through 20, 21, 22-year-old would make. But because you're an athlete, you're really not going to get um, the slap on the wrist that everybody else gets. So
Right.
making sure that you're on this platform, we use that for good too. So when it comes to raising money for the school, or when it comes to speaking on a topic, or anything like that, we realize that people are gonna see us a little bit more. So if people are seeing us more, and our following's a little bigger, people are seeing us a little more and hearing about us a little more because of our Instagram pages for the teams and stuff, then why not use that as a positive way to get
Yeah.
messages and
100%.
spread a positivity.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Mhm. Yeah, speaking of track, dude, let's move to the freaking cancellation of these track meets, man,
Yep.
across the country. First, the big one, I'm sure if you're a track fan, you've heard about it, is the cancellation of the United States track and field canceling the U20 championships,
Hmm.
which is big
Yeah.
in the track world.
Yeah. Yeah. And Penn relays, which
Yeah,
not just in the United States, but global. Um,
it's huge, man. Penn relays is like a huge opportunity for
yeah.
people,
Yeah, and
especially.
especially here, like we were supposed to go to that meet, and we were looking forward to it. And it's such a shame because you get 30, 40,000 people sitting in those stands
Oh my
from
god, yeah, and you remember
United
like
States, Jamaica, all of these countries to come
exactly,
watch, and
and
it's
he allowed you to,
non-existent this year.
yeah, not to mention how that's like for a lot of high school athletes, that's like a pinnacle of a meet,
Yep,
because it allows them to be seeing people from different countries. They're able to watch different levels of track,
yep.
and huge for them. And it's kind of like an eye opener. And every track athlete has that story. I was at Penn Relays, I did this, I did that. Like everybody loves to say it. They always have their gear from it and
Yeah,
stuff. But
that's my go-to story. I went to Penn Relays my sophomore year, and I lost to Calabar, who ran a world junior record in the 4x1 at 39:98. Like, yeah, my team got second to last in that race, but at least I could say, you know what, I lined up next to got four guys who are going to be on the Jamaican national team at some point,
yeah, hmm
if not
yeah.
already.
Like it's certain things like that, man. Like I remember myself. We didn't go to Penn really actually. Mine when I was in high school, which there's one thing that like always kind of bothered me and like I regretted. I was like I didn't get to go in high school, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
It was our one big
yeah,
for me back in high school, especially being that my high school was a big distance school. They loved doing the DMR, and my school had won it a few times, so that
I
was
love
like
the
10
MR.
relays was like celebrated in my high school for
Mm,
like we would get literally people standing outside of the bus clapping for us as we go drive our school
yeah,
bus to
but
freaking
that's the
10
that's
relays.
the that's the one race I used to love watching was the DMR.
Yeah.
That race is
So
fun.
it was always so it was fun because it was also a meet where, you know, we in high school you go to a meet, you go on the bus, you come back home. This like you're staying in a hotel
Yeah,
together as a team. Like this is the one time you get to be with each other, you get to experience Philadelphia,
yeah,
and then you also get to go against like international kids racing. It's like it was just a
yeah,
culmination of everything. And
yes, yeah.
for kids who, you know, lost their seasons in the spring, a lot of them are having, you know, screwed up indoors to now not having pen relays, just killers upon
It's
killers.
shot, man.
And, you know, it's obviously top down with the U20s being canceled. And it's just everyone's struggling. But at the same time, you're seeing athletes like Donovan Brazier and others that are dropping crazy times right now, being that they have
Yeah,
had such a large break that even
that's
though even
exactly.
the small meets that they had, they're
Bro, that's
dropping time
exactly what I'm
periods.
going to focus on. Like Matthew Bowling breaking records. Um, clearly, dude, it's just everybody's been doing crazy stuff because of allowing their bodies to rest and just to be at 100%. And it's been ridiculous to watch.
Yeah,
It's been ridiculous to watch, man.
crazy.
Like
You know, it shows
all
like
these records are just being shattered.
yeah, it shows like even though there was COVID and you know everyone was locked up in their houses or whatever,
Mhm.
these guys were hitting the gym. These guys are hitting their local tracks and they were getting the job done just to
Getting
build
proper,
themselves
yeah,
up to
getting
take any opportunity they had to race.
and the athletes have been getting proper training, dieting right, recovering right, and just been spending probably a lot of quality time with their trainers. And it hasn't been a rush. It's a slow pace. Like let's just work on this. More time
Yeah.
to work on our block starts, more time to work on our drive phase, more time to work on our top end speed, like our maintenance. It's a time to not have to rush and a lot of time to save your body to stay away from those hamstring injuries, shin splints for a lot of runners, like just those little nagging injuries that happen all the time, and just able to avoid them a bit more with
Mhm.
the rest period. But it's a blessing and a curse in a way that athletes are shattering records when they do have meets, but a lot of athletes are also not having meets, so
Yeah.
it's kind of somewhere in between.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking big. You know,
Hey,
it's
it's
crazy how, you know, either being able to recover or but like, you know, it has its positives and negatives. You're able to recover, but you don't know when your next time to race is. So
yeah, it's
yeah, um, it's crazy stuff. But I got to meet this week, leaving tomorrow. Well, today, it's Tuesday, but right now, so I guess tomorrow we're leaving. We're gonna go to Coastal Carolina for our first meet of the season.
tomorrow.
It's well, we drive, so we leave Wednesday the 10th. By the time people are seeing this, it's gonna be Tuesday.
Mhm.
So tomorrow we leave. About a 9 hour bus ride, including stops for dinner. Um, and then Thursday we'll be attending our classes in the morning on Zoom. Um, and we'll go to the track, get a pre-meet in, get some warm-ups, get a feel for the track, and used to the warm
Man,
weather down there.
exactly. And like something about Coastal, bro, is so a lot of y'all that I know me and Ethan ran track together and stuff, but even when I was at York and going to the Mount, when I didn't need to be in Maryland, I would go down to Conway. So I loved working out on their track. I worked out on their track a lot. I when the pandemic first hit and they sent us home, I was just there working out while I could, and when I was taking breaks and stuff, I love the feel of the track. I definitely say it's a pretty bouncy track. It kind of reminds me of the indoor feel, kind of a mix between the indoor feel with an outdoor. It's that kind of that indoor feel, that kind of rubbery feel on track.
Mhm.
It's more like that than the mountain track, where it's more of
Yeah,
a the soft, the typical track.
right.
Um, you know, but yeah, I definitely like the way their track is. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Their whole
yeah.
entire
So
camp.
we'll be able to see that on Thursday, and then Friday. and Saturday are race days. So my
Mhm.
coach for right now, it's tentative, but I'll be doing 400 hurdles, the 4x200 meter, and the 4x400 meter. So the 4x2 is on Friday, and then the 400 hurdles and the 4x4 are on Saturday. They're about 3 hours apart, with the 400 hurdles being first.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
so, been a great past, week or so of training. Last week went really well.
Hell yeah, bro.
Um,
I'm glad to hear
yeah,
that.
and today we did some hurdle stuff and I was feeling real smooth. So, the goal is to run quick. I don't, it's my first time in 2 years running a hurdle. So I'm not
Yeah,
expecting a
man.
PR, but I'm
Dude, I mean,
expecting close to it.
honestly, man, I mean, the trick with me, and you always knew how I was too, was, just don't limit yourself by trying to pin yourself into not PRing or PRing, man. Just make sure that you are relentless in your practice and the way you prepare, because proper preparation eliminates, that fear of failure and the nervous feeling of not being prepared, man. When you know you've trained and you've broken it down and you spent the time on the track, then there's nothing to worry about, man. And
Like,
at that point, go over what you got to go over in your head. Make sure you come out the way you want to come out, and at that point, just forget everything, man. Just let everything happen, and just do what your body is trained to do.
yeah, yeah. So, looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. No, I'm sure there'll be plenty of fast teams down there.
Yeah.
It'll be warm weather, looking like 70s.
Yeah,
So
man. It's looking like high of 70 on Wednesday, high of 70 on Thursday, and high of 72 and on Friday, and then Saturday is 75.
yeah, so hopefully warm weather, everything culminates for some quick times.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna
and
be.
and get the first season under first meet under the belt for outdoor, for technically me being a freshman of an outdoor season in college. So it's gonna
Right.
be
Yeah.
fun, and then we'll be back there next weekend. So I guess I'll update you guys on Sunday after the meet. We can recap and I'll talk to you guys how the meet went, how
Yeah.
everything was going.
Exactly. And we also apologize for being a couple days late. I know we try to get out episodes Monday every week, but just moving stuff around and just stuff that's been going on in life, and just
Yeah,
practice schedule and stuff. We had to push it a couple days back, but we try our best to keep it on Mondays.
yeah.
But yeah,
We'll try our best moving forward to keep it to that. But yeah, things are really going good. Start of the handoff is I'm excited, for the future. It's a little surprise for next week. Might be having a guest. I'm not going to talk about it.
yeah.
Don't know yet,
Stay
but
tuned. We're gonna have a guest.
but yeah. So look forward to next video.
Yeah, we will release the guest. We'll try to release it before the episode, um, through our Instagram. So stay on that.
So stay tuned. Keep on the lookout.
Yeah, please put the views on our first. Let me check the views on our first. And by the way, we're working on getting it on. We're gonna make sure we get these on all platforms. Obviously, starting off, we just uploaded the video to YouTube, but we're making sure that we keep growing and things are gonna keep getting better. And obviously, the quality is gonna improve as time goes on too. We got 54 people who watched our first episode, but
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's pleasing for us, considering that was our first episode. We didn't promote much. We
Yeah.
just we,
Exactly.
we just dropped it. So
Yeah. So people that are viewing, like the video, subscribe, share to your friends,
yeah.
comment. Also, topic ideas that you guys want us to talk
Oh
about.
yeah. You have, I mean, you have we have Instagram. Instagram is the Handoff. Simple as that.
Yeah,
On
we'll
Instagram,
link
I
we'll
believe.
link our tags in the bio so you guys can
Yeah,
see in the video description.
exactly. We'll put everything in. Just like the last video, I'm gonna have. If you guys are listening to the audio, then we'll try to put that in the description and make everything. But if you're listening to the audio, um, then our Instagram is the Handoff Cast. Just how it spells, the Handoff Cast, no spaces, on Instagram. And you can, once you go into that, you'll see our personal Instagrams are in that. And if you're watching this through YouTube, we're gonna have it up on top, and we'll also have it in the description of the video. So yeah.
All right, awesome. Have a good one,
Yeah.
everybody.
All right, you guys.